What's up, boys and girls? Valmiabur here with a new video for you guys, and today we're going to be diving into what exactly makes Genshin Impact so good. Now, I did say what exactly, but this video is opinionated. This is my opinion as to why people love the game. These are definitely the reasons why I love the game. And if you guys share the same sentiments, or if there are other reasons why you really love this game, then you can put it down in the comment sections below. I would love to know your reasons why you guys keep playing this game. In this video, we're going to be talking about 3 things as to which I think what makes this game so good. And those 3 things are going to be the story, the gameplay, and the exploration. For a game that's supposedly a gacha game, it actually has a good story to it. It starts off with what seems to be a huge conflict between the main characters and the villain of the game, and are cast off into the open world to figure out what went wrong. While exploring the open world and trying to figure out what exactly happened, you come across important characters that are able to help you on your journey. Now, the dialogue feels genuine and the voice acting feels superb, which sparks emotions between these characters and the player. That being said, I do have the language set onto Japanese, so for the Japanese side of the dialogue and the voice acting, it's really great. I have no idea how it sounds like in the English version, but I'm pretty sure it's also great. Not only that, but some of the characters that you can play as actually have their own individual story that you can play through, which gives that much more needed connection between the player and said character. Now, this actually adds to the experience because this allows the players to have their favorites in game, since these characters are fairly unique from each other. Unfortunately, playing the story quests of the characters that you already have and are playing as may break the immersion of some players, since technically this is still an RPG. To bypass this in some way, I always have the main character in my party. That way, when I'm exploring and talking to NPCs, I always have my main character to do that, and I use my other characters for combat and solving puzzles, which we'll be talking about later on in this video. Now, given that the game has an anime style theme to it, there are a lot of cutie dialogues here and there from some of the characters that just serve the purpose of just showing off how cute they are, especially for the character Paimon. But then again, that could also add to the personality of some characters if you look at it in a different way. And it's not so prevalent that it downgrades the actual story that the game is trying to tell. And that's gonna be it for the story part of this video. I didn't want to dive into the story too much because surprisingly, this story actually has a lot of substance to it. I kind of want you guys to experience the story for yourselves because it did surprise me a lot, since this game is free to play and is a gacha game at its core. And moving on to the next part of the video, we're going to go into gameplay. Your team has a total of 4 characters, but you can only control 1 character at any given time. Now, you switch in between these characters by pressing the hotkey assigned to them. All characters have an assigned element, a normal attack, a charge attack, an elemental skill, and an elemental burst, which serves as your kind of like ultimate ability. All attacks except the elemental burst can be used repeatedly, given that you have the stamina for your charged attacks. Now, before you get to use your elemental burst, you have to gather up some elemental orbs that you get by attacking enemies with your other attacks, or just by simply defeating these enemies. But what makes the gameplay so much more interesting is how these elements interact with each other. Now, hitting enemies with a certain element will more often than not give them some kind of elemental debuff based on the element that you use. Now, while they have the debuff, hitting them with another element will spark a reaction depending on which elements mix. Examples of these are fire and lightning combined to make a huge explosion. Water and lightning create this like effect that continuously shocks your opponents. Wind can combo with any other element, and so on and so forth. This creates the freedom of the player to mix and match characters to see which elements and which skills would work perfectly for optimal DPS. Now, it should be noted that these elemental debuffs and combos can be inflicted on the player as well, which creates that much more depth during combat. While skills and combos are the main attraction of the gameplay, one must also note that there are also a variety of weapons in the game. Now, each of these weapons have their own effects, and each character is only allowed to use one weapon type as of now. But that also means that a specific weapon in a weapon archetype will fit a specific character the best. Now, there are also a variety of accessories that have set bonuses that will allow the character to be more effective with their role, whether it be a healer, damage, support, you name it. All this gives an in-depth character building environment that ultimately leads to meta builds for some characters. Now, the combat can get a little bit hectic sometimes with the number of enemies thrown at you, time trials in combat sequences, and the need to switch in between characters through combat, but it's all fluid. It all meshes together. It works. And that being said, combat is just the second best thing as to why I think people are loving Genshin Impact so much. Now we're going to be moving on to the final part of the video and what I think is the biggest reason why I think people love Genshin Impact, is the biggest reason why I love Genshin Impact, and that is the exploration. And not only is the world bright with vibrant colors, but it feels alive enough because of the number of mobs that are scattered throughout the world, the number of chests, puzzles, and interesting places that you can see every time you turn your head. The world map is just rich with gorgeous landscapes and areas that are more than meets the eye. And on top of that, the music as you explore the world really immerses you in that feeling of discovering something new. It really pulls you into that fantasy exploration setting. But good looks and tons of content isn't what really hooks the player into exploring the game. It is also that the game very much rewards the player for exploration. Chests and puzzles with luxurious rewards awaits the player as they explore the world. Now, all of the things that you gather, whether they may be a low-level material or a high-level material, you will be using at some point in the game. And that's what I love about it. There is no trash. Now, this is especially true for the currency called Primo Gems. Now, what are Primo Gems? Primo Gems are the currency in-game that the player uses to pull characters and or weapons from some kind of loot table, and whatever result you get is based on RNG factors. Obviously, you can get Primo Gems or buy an equivalent of a Primo Gem using real-world money, or you can buy stuff with real-world money that would allow you faster access to Primo Gems. But most of the activities that are done will provide you with Primo Gems, I'll bet not that much. Activities, side quests, and achievements give you Primo Gems. There's a lot of stuff that you can do in the game that will net you Primo Gems for free. And the thing is, the grind isn't that bad because, again, the world is really gorgeous and the world rewards you. And the downside to the exploration is that movement is very limited in the early game. It is tied to a stamina bar. There are no mounts in the game. Well, there is fast travel, but in the early parts of the game, you won't have these fast travel points unlocked. You're gonna have to walk or sprint, and to sprint, you need stamina. Stamina can only be increased by leveling up certain towers in the game, which then also encourages the player to explore, to find the materials to upgrade the tower to increase their stamina. The more you explore, the more stamina you can get, then the easier it is to explore in the future. Now, there is also swimming, gliding, and climbing, but of the three, swimming is the least important. As of right now, I haven't really seen an area in the game that I needed to swim to get that was like super interesting. Most of the places in the game you'll get to by climbing or gliding or just simply running. Now, another downside is that some of the activities require resin to get the rewards. Now, there are items that can refresh this resin amount, but the main way of recovering them is waiting until it recovers by itself up to a maximum of 120. This makes doing the activities that need resin limited per day. This will turn off people since the materials that you usually get from these activities are the materials that you need to level up your characters and your weapons. Now, those are the three things that are, in my opinion, the reasons why People love Genshin Impact. These are definitely the reasons why I love Genshin Impact so much. Hope you guys liked the video. If you did, consider leaving a like and subscribe to the channel. That would help me out so much. Let me know what you guys think in the comment sections below. I'd love to have a discussion about you guys on Genshin Impact, what you guys liked and disliked about the game, what you guys liked and disliked about this video. And I do stream on Twitch every Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays around 1 p.m. Philippines time. If you want to go check out the channel, I'll also leave the link in the description below. All right, that's gonna be it for the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.